May I have your attention, please? The opportunity to sign up for public comment or public hearing expires when the chair calls the meeting to order. The sign-in sheets are located at the podium. Please switch all electronic devices to silent mode. Our meeting will begin shortly. Thank you.
I would like to call the regular scheduled county council meeting to order Monday, October the 23rd, 2023 at 6 p.m., Winsboro, South Carolina. If I could have everyone to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag. Thank you, everyone. Next, we are down to the approval of the agenda. Mr. Gilbert.
I'd like to make a motion that we amend the agenda to move action item 9B, which are after item 17, executive session, please.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Let the record reflect 7-0. Now we are down to the approval of the agenda as amended. It's been moved and properly seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? 7-0 to approve the agenda. Next, we are down to invocation. Pastor Larry Irby of Wayman Chapel.
Eternal God, our Father in heaven, is again that we, your children, have come together here at the county council meeting of the Fairfield County. And Father God, we do want to thank you for all that you've done through this council And we pray, God, that whatever your will is, that you would continue to do it through this council. You have promised to supply all of our needs according to your riches and glory by Christ Jesus. So, Lord, let your will be done. Have your way in this meeting, and we, your children, will be careful now to give your name the honor, glory, and praise. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Irby. Item 5, approval of minutes. This is for budget work session 5/17/2023 and the regular meeting of October the 9th, 2023. It's been moved and properly seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Let the record reflect 7-0 on item 5. Now we are down to public presentations. A, Central South Carolina Alliance. Dr. Roberts.
Mr. Chair, we have Mr. Jason Giulietti, President and CEO of the Central SC Alliance, joining us today.
In the Central South Carolina Alliance. My name is Jason Giulietti. I am the brand new president and CEO of the organization. When I say brand new, I'm only about 5 weeks old, so I am literally brand new, and not just new to the organization, but new to South Carolina. So I come to you via Texas, where I led a very similar organization, a regional economic development group in between Austin and San Antonio, Texas. So very fast-growing, very deliberate business-focused organization and community, and help grow that organization in that region. So I'm not new to economic development. I have been in economic development my entire career, which spans just about 20 years now, having done economic development at the statewide, regional, and local levels. I will analogize a little bit and give you 2 seconds of my last organization. During my 5.5 years leading that organization, I helped grow it from an organization of just 2 employees to 13 when I left. Organizationally, in its 10-year history, they closed about $250 million in capital investment over their 10-year history. In my next 5 years as leading the organization, we closed $5.5 billion and attracted more than 12,000 jobs to the community. I share that simply to show you where Central South Carolina is going to go, and the Midlands and the counties that are part of the organization will be seeing as results of this organization. I say that to share, the organization's been around for a while and has had great success and had roller coaster ride, I will call it, since then, is what I'm observing. You guys correct me if I'm wrong. But in doing that, I see that we have tremendous opportunity to reset the organization into the Central South Carolina 3.0 and take a very strategic reset in what we're doing and how we're doing it. So I will share very briefly a couple things. I have a couple primary tenets that I will view as kind of pillars on what I will see our success. One is the return on investment. I am huge on this for every single investor, public or private, that are part of the organization. So you will see a significant amount of focus on ensuring your needs individually to your county are met and the communities that make up within your county are met. So your feedback and what you guys want to see from this organization is critical. Myself, my team as we grow are going to be full extensions of your team and of your directives of what you need. There's plenty to go around out there in the economic development world, and we want to make sure that your county and the Midlands get their piece. I jokingly told folks since I've been here, I've heard too much about Greenville and too much about Charleston, and all I'm going to do is bump them out of the way and make sure the Midlands takes its place where it should. So know that's going to be where the organization goes. Number 2, it's all about collaboration. So economic development is a team sport, meaning we want to be part of your team and ensuring your professional staff have the support they need. So as our team grows, I've asked my staff to be part of your team, meaning to come down here in office frequently, myself included, to make sure we're a visible resource to what you guys need and that we're fulfilling whatever gaps you have in your support team. In addition to that, we're very resource driven, meaning we're going to provide a lot more resources as an organization to help the county be successful in achieving its economic development goals. We will be doing that as the overlay for the region to ensure that if you guys have the need, I'm sure others in the region have the same need. So we'll go out there and make sure we're providing those resources. And then last, I'll leave you with the two tenets that I stand by firmly in every position I've ever been, and that's transparency and accountability. We will be changing the organization significantly, showing how we deploy our resources, knowing the public funds we receive from this county among the other counties of the organization are critical. My job, and I will tell you right now, is to go out and make sure we leverage those funds and go out and get the private sector funds to, quite honestly, 2-to-1 match what you guys are doing, so that we can take advantage and fully fund the economic development needs of our community and then bring you the results so those that you represent and your constituents will be proud and have better economic opportunity to grow and make a better life for them and their families. Every ability, every level. That's our job, is to go out there and find those opportunities and bring those companies here and help those existing companies that are here continue to grow. That's what we'll be doing. That's what our job. Lastly, I love to be very open and transparent on everything. As I mentioned, feedback is critical. So whether it's right now on the stage you guys want to share things, or any point in the future, I will come out and meet with every single one of you. I'll meet with every constituent you may have. I want to make sure that we're servicing the needs of the county. So that said, I'm open to feedback either here or at any point in the future. And like I said, my team, myself are portable. We can be here at any moment to make sure that you guys are getting the return on investment that you should from the Central South Carolina Alliance. That's all I wanted to share today. No formal presentations. We'll have plenty of that in the future, I'm sure, but wanted to at least introduce myself, introduce the new philosophy at where Central's going, and certainly look forward to working with all of you. So happy to take any comment or question you guys may have.
Mr. Roof.
Yeah, I would just like to welcome you to South Carolina again, and sounds like you have a lot of experience, and we certainly look forward to working with you. Thank you very much.
Very much, appreciate it.
Can you spell your last name for the record, please?
Sure, it is Giulie. T as in Tom, T as in Tom, I. A lot of vowels, sorry.
We look forward to working with you and welcome to South Carolina. Like Mr. Roof said, if you can definitely make sure we have your contact information.
Yes, sir.
That way, if any council members want to reach out to you, but we look forward to working with you.
Thank you, sir.
One
Appreciate
more
it.
thing. What was your first name?
Jason.
That's a lot easier.
There you, that's how you work it. Do that, please. But yes, no, I encourage all of you. Please do. We genuinely are going to be very, very involved with you guys and all of your needs. So we just need to know what those needs are and what you guys need as a community, and we'll be here to do it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you all. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Mr. Christopher Finn, Interim President and CEO of I-77 Alliance.
Good evening, Council. Thanks for the opportunity to come speak with you today. This might seem a little odd following Jason, two regional economic development alliances, but I do have some slides that I was going to go through, and I think by the end of my notes, you're going to understand the kind of difference, the difference in value that you get between our two organizations. We are complementary of each other. I don't want to say that we're competition, and then I think that there's a clear line between the value and services that each of us offer. I wanted to give a little bit of background. We are a 5-county organization, so you guys are one of 5 counties. We have a public-private board, and that's the purpose of us being here tonight, is that you're one of 5 public sector representatives on our board, and we wanted to make sure that we were coming to you to make sure that you understood what we're doing on your behalf, how we're staying involved, so that when we come talk to you on an annual basis, when it comes time to talk about our budget, you have an understanding about what we're trying to do and what we're doing for Fairfield County. We are a 501c3 nonprofit, and really the way that you want to think about us is that we're your marketing organization when it comes to economic development. And when we talk about economic development, there's lots of different kinds. There's local, there's community. We're talking about the larger announcements that you typically see, M-Lily, BOMAG, Scout Motors. Those are the types of projects that my organization and our partners work on. But in addition to that, we're also, our mission is lead generation, and that's kind of how we complement Central South Carolina Alliance's mission. All we're trying to do is fill the pipeline. We just want to give you guys as many leads as we possibly can for companies that are interested in relocating to the Southeast. So as long as we're keeping that pipeline full, Jason and his team can also assist with the project management and also help with any other services throughout the project. We are one of the newer organizations in the state. We started back in 2014. I'm not going to go through all these, but what I wanted to talk about is the fact that our counties came together to build this group because they wanted to take advantage of the funds that are available at the state level to public-private groups like the alliances. We're able to claim a portion of $5 million a year, and with that money, we're able to do a lot. We're able to travel, we're able to purchase services, we're able to share resources, but we can't use that money for operations, and that's where the counties come in to assist us, where your money and your funding allows us for payroll and benefits and those vital things. I will mention we're currently an organization of one. I am the sole employee, but we are in the process of looking for a full-time president and CEO. I did want to mention there is no service duplication. So when you invest in the I-77 Alliance, again, with having other alliances overlapping, there isn't actually really a duplication of services except for lead generation, and you really can't duplicate that because as many leads as you guys are able to get your hands on is as many as you're going to want. We then kind of had a period where speaking with all of our counties, we decided what services we were going to offer. The bottom half of that screen, those are all online resources that the Alliance pays for on behalf of Fairfield County. You guys realize the return on your investment just from that lower half of the screen there. That doesn't include any of the value-added services or marketing services that we provide. But if you were to go onto Fairfield County Economic Development's website, you would see a state-of-the-art GIS web-based real estate platform. You would see an economic data center, as well as access to a number of third-party tools where we can provide access to that through our resources. But again, the top half of that, you see some of the marketing and collateral that we create, whether it be brochures, videos. We supported the development of the I-77 Alliance, or the I-77 International Mega Site, the website that's being used to marketing that. We helped develop that one, as well as the video that was produced for that site as well. And again, that's at no cost to you. We did revise our strategic plan. We just wanted to be a little bit more focused. But where we are now is that we're in the process of pivoting how we're going to be providing our services. We want to be better with investor relations. We want to be better partners with our board members. And that's why I'm here, as I said tonight, is just to re-engage and make sure that you're putting a face and a name with the organization so that when you do have questions in regard to economic development, you can rely on Ann or myself. Just talking about metrics real quick to give you an idea of what we're talking about. So the one thing that we primarily do is we travel. We have contracts with lead generation firms where we say we want to travel to Chicago. Please set 12 meetings for us. That firm will set 12 meetings, and then we'll go and we'll just pitch the region. We'll do that all around the country with our partners at the South Carolina Department of Commerce. We travel internationally as well. And that's, again, one of the values that you receive from investing in our alliance is that if, say, we send Ann on one of these trips, she'd be traveling to Germany, she'd be meeting with all these companies, and there would be zero cost to the county. The alliance absorbs airfare, accommodation, all travel costs, all food costs, anything associated with the trip. As long as she's associated with us in our group, we're going to pay for all of those expenses. And as you can see, we had every year roughly we average around 100 of those company visits, 100 of those meetings. And then we also generate the leads, and you can see the number of leads that we've been generating year over year. I just want to move on to just discuss what we talk about. This image here is the back of our business card. The first thing that we try to make sure we make sure companies understand is where our region is, give them a sense of on the East Coast being between New York City and Miami. But if you notice that line that's kind of going out to the middle of the country, we calculated what an 11-hour drive was as far as market access. 11 hours is the maximum you can drive for a truck with regulations in the United States. And within that shaded area, there's 42 million people. So we can tell companies, it's 43% of the U.S. population, which is a huge number when you're a company that might be, in again Europe or in international countries. They'll find out that is a huge market access to be able to reach within a one-day's truck drive. Some of the other things that we talk about, just the location, market access, having Charlotte Douglas International Airport. These are all topics that Jason and his groups will talk about. But the important thing that we want to discuss is just the concentration of activity that we've been seeing across the Carolinas. As you guys know, right now, electric vehicles, EV vehicles, and the supply chain are very, very important and very popular. And you can see those large white circles. They invest some of the largest projects, and some of them, as you know, butt right up against Fairfield County. And we're out there trying to work to make sure to capture any opportunity and lead we can for this group every day of the year. I didn't really have anything else to discuss. Again, I don't want it to seem as convoluted having two overlapping regional alliances. All 5 of the counties in my region are part of 2 regional alliances, whether it be the Charlotte Group or Central South Carolina Alliance. Everybody sees the value and they understand the role that we have to play, and we know the roles that we have to play with our county partners as well. So I just want to make sure that we reiterate that, we are your marketing firm when it comes to economic development. We do advocate on your behalf. And if there is any kind of questions or concerns about how we do what we do, you can always contact myself. Councilwoman Green is your representative on our board right now, so you can also speak with her as well. And if anyone had any questions or not, I can feel free to move on to get your meeting going. I touched on a lot. I talk quick, but I'm trying to save some time here, so.
Thanks, Chris.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks again, everybody.
Next, we are down to, Ms. Johnson, is that everything? That's good. Okay. Next, we are down to item 7, first public comment session.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of council. Kathy Falk.
Good evening, County Council. My name is Kathy Falk. I'm a resident of Fairfield County, and I'm also the president of Hoof and Paw. Tonight, I'm just simply here to extend, in light of an announcement later on in tonight's meeting, I would like to just extend an extremely warm and sincere welcome to our new Animal Control Director, Ms. Joanne Shaw. We have worked with Ms. Shaw for a long time, and we're excited about her willingness to take this position. She, I think, will do a wonderful job for the county. And so, Joe, I would like to say thank you. It is not an easy job, for sure, and we're grateful that she is willing to step in. I know she will do the very best she can for the animals and the people in this county. We're lucky to have her, and we look forward to working with her, and we look forward to continuing to extend a helping hand from Hoof and Paw in every way possible for the animals in this county. So thank you all, and thank you.
Jeff Schaefer.
Just to make sure I got everyone's attention. It's certainly a reasonable request on the agenda. We have rules for public comment, and I think that makes great sense. You state, or it's stated, that we sign up for appropriate time to speak, refrain from engaging in conduct or speech that seeks to disrupt or be disruptive, and respect the time limits of public comments, and refrain from personal attacks or personal statements about any individual. I presume that means any individual up here. And such statements are disruptive because this part of our meeting is not conducive for such exchanges between individuals. So I got a couple of questions. When is there a time for an exchange between the people up there and the people down here? Question number 1. But more importantly, where is it that we, the public, have some expectancy of you, the same respect, to be polite, to pay attention, to listen, to give us a little feedback after we've spoken. That's something that the public wants. It's not here. So I just want you to know that. I think you already knew that. It's common sense and common courtesy, but that seems to be lacking. It's easy to point the finger when we are disrespectful, but when we're not paying attention, no one says anything. Next on this thing you have, and Kathy just spoke about it, the last new animal control person was gone about last week, the last time we had a meeting. I know he resigned. And in that period of time, we've got a new young lady, which I wish her a lot of good luck. But my concern would be, in 2 weeks, we managed to get a new animal control person, but we haven't, in months, been able to replace the administrator. Why is that? Why is it taking so long to find an administrator? Why is it taking so long to get things done? And I can't help myself but to say that it's still, you have not reinstated the second time for citizens to speak about any subject. And if that's because
Mr. Schaefer, the second public comment session is not on the
I
agenda to
understand
be
that.
talked about. So we're not going to talk about it tonight. It's not on the agenda to
Yeah.
be talked about.
It's not on the agenda tonight.
Yes, sir. So we're not going to discuss the second public comment session.
Well, you don't have to discuss it. I'm just going to ask you a question. When is it going to be on the agenda? If you don't want to answer that, that's fine.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Randy Bright.
Randy Bright, Ridgeway, District 1. I would like to direct my comments towards Ordinance 827 tonight. A couple of good things. Number one is looks like we're moving forward with some economic development. Yahoo! Number two, we got an explanatory email from the clerk giving us some more detail about this ordinance. And that comes with perhaps the most scary thing of this entire agenda tonight. And that's we're selling the property to a concrete plant. Now, if you have not done your research, and you better, the cement in concrete is one of the world's largest pollutants across the world. It's like the third largest pollutant across the world. And between the two, cement, which is part of concrete, they contribute anywhere from 4 to 8% of the CO2 pollution in the world. Cement itself, according to the EPA, as late as August 29th, 2023, you can go on the EPA site and read about the cement itself, causes a tsunami of negative health impacts. Among those, it impacts air, water, and land. The very things we breathe, the very things we eat, the very things we see every day. It even causes air pollution, not only for breathing purposes, respiratory purposes, but also even visibility purposes. If you haven't done your homework, you're going to bring disaster to this county. This industry has had a history of lawsuits, a history of losing lawsuits, and a history of pollution. Maybe this plant is perfect, no pollution whatsoever. But I recall when we jumped into buying an incinerator and $250K cost, and we found out later, well, we couldn't use it because it was a big polluter and we couldn't have a place to put it. So we just set that aside. Don't dive in head first in the shallow end without checking out, can we ensure that this concrete manufacturer is not a polluter? Save Fairfield in any way you can. Do your homework. Talking about cement production, you shouldn't even drive 5 miles, within 5 miles of it in some instances. So deadly potential. If it's a non-polluter, great. Thank you.
No one else signed up to speak, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Dr. Roberts. Next, we are down to item 8A, public hearing. An ordinance by Fairfield County Council authorizing the execution and delivery of an amendment to special source revenue credit agreement by and between Fairfield County, South Carolina, and Healthcare SC, LLC, relating to, without limitation, the provision of special source revenue credits and other matters relating thereto. We will open this hearing at 6:29.
Randy Bright.
Randy Bright, Ridgeway, District 1. This resolution brings to mind, well, it makes sense in itself and is really kind of innocuous. It does help us to remind us that, number one, borrowing money without a bond referendum can cause long-term effects like this one is now. And I'm referring to the FFC portion of this. When we borrowed $40 million net without a referendum from...
Mr. Bright,
Yes.
that's not the same thing for 8A, the public hearing.
Wasn't this on the transfer of property?
This is the special source revenue credit between Fairfield County and Healthcare.
All right, my mistake. Then on that, then I just need details on the special revenue credit. How much?
Okay,
How much in dollars, not in percents? How much in dollars it's going to cost us? And how much do we expect to gain from it?
all right,
That's
thank you.
Thank you.
No one else signed up to speak, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Dr. Roberts. We will close this public hearing at 6:31 p.m. Next, we are down to 9A, third and final reading of Ordinance 826, an ordinance by Fairfield County Council authorizing the execution and delivery of an amendment to special source revenue credit agreement by and between Fairfield County, South Carolina, and Healthcare South Carolina, LLC, relating to, without limitation, the provision of special source revenue credits and other matters relating thereto.
Motion to approve, Mr. Chair.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Is there any discussion?
Get up.
Just for clarification, get an explanation on this.
Mr. Morgan.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, members of council, you have before you this evening ordinance number 826. What this does is this allows for an amendment between a previously established special source revenue credit that the county has with M. Lilly. And what ended up happening is the South Carolina legislature, after the county had entered into the original agreement, passed a bill last year, Senate Bill 1087. And what that did was it changed the computation that the credits that would be coming to the county. So what ended up happening is that legislation would have meant that the taxes that Emily agreed to pay would be less, about 40% less than what the county and then Emily had previously agreed to. So what this amendment does is basically say that the county and Emily are going to continue to go forward with the old formula and therefore basically have a greater tax revenue come into the coffers for the county, and that M. Lily's agreed to continue to pay the $495,000 a year that they agreed to. Otherwise, it would have been less, and that's the main thing that what this agreement does.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Let the record reflect 7-0 on 9A. Third and final reading of ordinance 826. 9B was moved to either executive session. We are down to 9C. Resolution number 2023-04, a resolution to provide authorization for the exchange of property securing installment purchase revenue bonds and other matters related thereto.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Is there any discussion?
Can you get an explanation on this one also?
Ms. Johnson.
Good evening, council. This is what we discussed at our last meeting. It's about, this resolution allows the transfer of the collateral from the old admin building to the DSS DHEC building. And that way council can decide what to do with the old admin building. But as we discussed at our last meeting, we requested that a decision not be made on what to do with the old admin building at this time until a possible grant comes through.
Thank you. Yeah, I just wanted that so everybody would be clear about what this was. Thank you.
Seeing none, all those in favor? All those opposed? Let the record reflect 7-0 on item C, 9C. Next, we are down to board and commission minutes. There are none. We are down to 11 board and commission appointments. This would be 11A, Behavioral Health Services, Ms. Willie Mina Robinson from District 4. It's been moved and seconded to appoint Ms. Robinson. I think Ms. Robinson is currently already on the board, so this would be a reappointment. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Let the record reflect 7-0 on appointment of Willie Mina Robinson, District 4. Next, we are down to 11B, Planning Commission, Mr. David Brown from District 7.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Is there any discussion on Mr. Brown? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? What do we have, 6? Was it 6? Mr. Robinson, did you, okay. I'm sorry, you said?
No.
Let the record reflect 6-0 on Mr. Brown with 1 abstention. Next, we are down to item 12, old business none, 13, new business none, and 14, county administrators report. Ms. Johnson.
We have here with us today Ms. Joanna Shaw. Could you please stand? She has been named the new Animal Control Director. She's actually been working in the Animal Control Department for over 6 years. So she's already knows the policies and the procedures, and we know she will do an excellent job. Thank you, Ms. Joe.
I'll just say thank you for continuing on. We appreciate what you do. Thank you.
Thank you as well. Now we are down to still a county administrator's report. Ms. Johnson.
We just want to give council a heads up that we will be pulling together the Public Services and Development Committee, hopefully in November, to discuss some recommendations related to short-term rentals. We have been working on some draft recommendations for a short-term rental ordinance. We pulled together an internal work group that included the magistrates, sheriff's office, fire department, community development, and code enforcement. because all of those departments will have to be involved with any type of short-term rental ordinance, and got some excellent feedback from all of those departments. We'd like to also have a public stakeholder meeting. That date has not been set yet, but therefore, people who have input or challenges, concerns for or against short-term rentals can come to the public input session. And then once we get that together, we will be bringing the recommendations to the Public Services and Development Committee for review and approval before it comes to full council. So we are working, and we want to make sure all the departments know what's happening and that anything that we recommend is something that's truly enforceable, because you can pass an ordinance, but if the departments can't enforce it, then it's not a very useful ordinance. So we just want to let you know what's happening with that.
That's it for my report, Mr. Chair.
All right, thank you, Ms. Johnson. Did you have something else you wanted to say?
Thank you for the reminder. I received permission from the family to announce this. Mr. Darrell Stout, he's an employee in the transit department. Him and his wife, Jennifer, lost their 19-year-old son, October 19th. And they are residents, actually, of Ridgeway. The funeral is Saturday at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and the STEM school has a GoFundMe page for the family. And if anyone wants to send flowers, the family asks that please send it to Camp Chemo through the Prisma Health Midlands Foundation. And please keep this family in your prayers. Thank you.
Would you tell me that name again?
Darrell Stout and his wife, Jennifer.
Next, we are down to Clerk to Council's report. There is none. And item 16, County Council time. Any council members wish to speak? Ms. Green?
Certainly. Thank you so much, Ms. Williams and the administration. I'm happy that you're able to come together to make some decisions regarding short-term rentals and making sure that the community can be involved and give some input. So I really appreciate that. I attended the South Carolina Economic Update session for South Carolina Association of Counties. And I think that a lot of things are happening in the state of South Carolina that are certainly good, that were not necessarily expected economically. It looks as if unemployment is still down. It looks as if we still are able to collect taxes, and it looks as if the state is still in a very good financial position. There are a couple of things that are on the radar, however. With electric cars, it seems as if there may be a need to change the way that gas taxes are collected to fund road construction and repairs. So that seems as if it may be something that the legislature is going to be taking a look at pretty soon. It also is true that homestead rebates, the amount of money collected for homestead rebates continues to exceed the amount that's spent. So essentially, I think it's one of the things that the legislature will probably do in this session is take a look at how they redistribute that money. So I think counties certainly will be involved and affected by that, and just want you to make sure that counties stay aware of what's going on with that so that we don't end up in a negative way ourselves. Thank you.
Mr. Robinson.
Yeah, I just wanted to report that throughout my travels last couple weeks that I was in Washington, and as of October the 15th, the First Florida Avenue and New York Avenue in Washington, D.C. is now known as Mamie Peanut Johnson Plaza. So, and if anyone doesn't know who she is, she's the first African-American female pitcher for the Negro League. So while I was in Washington on some personal business, I was able to see that, and that was pretty interesting. So I just wanted to bring that back to council. So.
Swearingen.
Finally. Okay. So I just wanted to say that a week or 10 days ago, Ms. Tangi Jacobs got in touch with me. We had a phone call, a conference call, and she was asking for a letter of support from council for Solar for All and for the rural areas. And it was a little bit late, and we weren't able, if we had had a little bit more time, I think that we could have got a proclamation, but we didn't have quite enough time. But I did do a letter, not that just because it was from me, I don't think it's probably gonna amount to a hill of beans, but I did send a letter of support for Ms. Jacobs, and I hope that it is solar for our rural areas, and solar power is a big thing that's going on now, and it's so big that VC Summer is building 2 solar-powered plants out there, and the backup will be, because you know the sun doesn't shine at night, but it does during the day. But sometimes it's cloudy, so you've got to have a backup of the gas will be the first backup, and the second backup is fuel oil, whatever. Some of that stuff, you know. But anyway, they are hiring. They're in phase 2. They had a meeting one day this week, and Tim and I were the only ones there. And so we got to ask lots of questions, but Tim wouldn't ask any questions. But anyway, so they're already in phase 2, and so they're hiring. Now, I don't know if we have do we have a link on our website that they can get an application, or?
Not right now. We'll get with our PIO to get the information out there about the jobs.
Okay, they're hiring like crane operators, electricians, that sort of thing for phase 2. I guess the bulldozer and that sort of stuff is done. They will probably employ about 200 people while they're building it, and it should finish up around maybe the end of 2025. So it's not a long-term thing, but it is some opportunity. It will be about $180 million investment, and so that's good for Fairfield County. And so, and again, I hate that we couldn't do any more for Ms. Jacobs, but that is to get the solar power out into our rural areas. That is important that everybody have that, just as important that if you want it, that you can have it as internet. So there's lots of things that would need to be in. When you live in town, you just kind of take stuff for granted, but when you get out there where we are, you're kind of limited with everything. So that's it. Thank you.
Mr. Roof.
Real quick one, just comment on what Mr. Robinson said about Mamie Johnson. There's a street also in Ridgeway named after her, so that's pretty cool. Anyway.
Mr. Roseborough.
Yes, I want to correct Ms. Swellinger. There are 2 gas-powered plants, not solar. Okay. No.
They're going to be like equivalent of 1,000 solar panels.
Yeah, there are 2 gas-powered plants.
But they're going to be the equivalent. Never mind. We're not on the same page here.
Okay, I want to start off by thanking all the citizens for being here tonight, thanking administration, council members, our clerk for all working together to make Fairfield County a better place to live and work. But there's been some questions about the county administrator's position. So instead of hiring an expensive firm to recruit for a county administrator, the decision was made to advertise for a county administrator through our human resources process. I am working with the committee to revise and update the county administrator job description. I've received administrative job descriptions from the South Carolina Association of Counties, and will use those examples to update our job description so that our announcement is similar to the administrator descriptions used by other counties. My goal is to have the administrator position posted on the county's website along with the South Carolina Association of Counties and the Municipal Association of Counties, Association of South Carolina's website by November the 1st. The position will remain open for 4 weeks. The committee will then narrow the applicants to the top candidates before interviews are conducted. The goal is to have a selection made by January the 1st, 2024. I also recently attended a ribbon cutting for the River Road Fire Station. I gave a presentation and wanted to give a thank you here. I wanted to give a thank you to previous and present council members, administration, and Ms. Green for working hard to see that the fire station got completed. If there's no other comments from council, we will executive session, receipt of legal advice and discussion regarding matters relating to the proposed location, expansion, or the provision of services encouraging expansion of industries in the area pursuant to South Carolina Code 30-4-70A5. It's been moved and properly seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Let the record reflect 7-0. We are now in executive session. Okay. All right, do I have a motion? It's been motioned and properly seconded to come out of executive session. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Let the record reflect, we are out of executive session, 7-0. Do I have any, I'm sorry. Next, we are down to 9B. First, I'm sorry, no action or vote was taken in executive session. Next, we are down to 9B, first reading by title only, number 827. It's been moved and properly seconded, and I apologize, I need to read it. An ordinance by Fairfield County Council authorizing the sale of certain real property in Fairfield County, South Carolina, and other matters related. It's been moved and properly seconded. There's no discussion by title only. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Let the record reflect 7-0. And council, right quick, if you will let me, I forgot to do this in council time. On Saturday, the 28th, at the museum, 1780 returns to Winsboro. That's going to be at 2 p.m. There's a public celebration in the museum backyard. There's also a Fairfield County Sheriff's Office is hosting a Ghosts and Goblins 5K, and that starts at 6 p.m. at the Old Armory on Park Street. And one other announcement, there's going to be a ghost walk also Saturday, October the 28th, 7 p.m. and 8:30 p.m. at the Winsboro Women's Club. Just wanted to make those announcements to make everybody aware. Any other motions?
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Let the record reflect 7-0. We are now adjourned.